Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Thursday, January 16th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's Maximum Carnage edition of AEW Dynamite, broadcast live last night on TBS and Max from the Andrew J. Brady Music Center in Cincinnati. In the main event, Jon Moxley made his third defense of the AEW World title, defeating Powerhouse Hobbs, putting him out with a Bulldog choke. The Death Riders continued the attack on Hobbs after the match until they were chased off by FTR and Adam Copeland to end the show. Kenny Omega had his first match on AEW television in over a year, defeating Brian Cage in the opening match. After the match, the Callis family attacked Omega and left him laying, as well as Will Ospreay, who tried to come in and make the save. The first ever women's casino gauntlet match was won by Toni Storm, who pinned Julia Hart to earn a shot at AEW World Women's Champion Mariah May at Grand Slam. Also participating in the gauntlet were Chris Statlander, Jamie Hayter, Julia Hart, Willow Nightingale, Harley Cameron, and Megan Bayne, who made her return to AEW television. During an in-ring promo, Jeff Jarrett was interrupted by MJF, who brought up the subject of Owen Hart to provoke Jarrett into a brawl.
During the Owing Cup, I saw right through you, you carny succubus. You are nothing more than a leech riding the coattails of your deceased friend. Oh, did I strike a chord, Jeff? I thought you were all tough. I thought you were the last outlaw. I guess you don't like it when I talk about your old pal, Owen, do you?
God, that was a long time coming.
Yeah, thankfully, Jeff Jarrett shutting up MJF with those big right hands. MJF trying to cover up, but Jeff Jarrett unloading on MJF.
Another in-ring promo saw Ricochet attacked from behind by Prince Nana and then chased off by Swerve Strickland. MVP had his first match on cable TV since July 2022, teaming with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin to defeat Mark Briscoe and Private Party. Also on the show, Hook defeated Christian Cage by disqualification due to outside interference from Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. Samoa Joe made his return after the match, hitting the ring to help Katsuyori Shibata chase off the Patriarchy when they tried to attack Hook.
Tez.
Samoa Joe! Samoa Joe!
Yes!
Is back!
Look at it!
Boom! And look at Joe tuning up Kip Sabian here!
The former world champion is back! Samoa Joe! And there goes Nick Wayne!
Thanks for coming, Nick. Wayne Joe with the power slam on Kip Sabian!
In ratings news, NXT drew an audience of 779,000 to the CW network this week, according to WrestleNomics. That's significantly down from the 957,000 that tuned in for last week's episode featuring a special appearance from The Rock, although last week's number also factored in KTLA TV's coverage of the wildfires plaguing Los Angeles. The rating in the 18 to 49-year-old demographic was a .17, which was also down from last week's demo rating of .25. And finally, in legal news, the ex-girlfriend of Odyssey Jones has responded to the former WWE wrestler over her claims of physical abuse in their relationship. In an interview yesterday with Post Wrestling, the alleged victim, whose name is being withheld, claimed that Jones engaged in physical abuse against her several times, including during a cruise the two took together only days after the initial altercation on May 17th. According to the Post-Wrestling story, the victim claims that Palmer, quote, caused her to suffer a concussion, destroyed their cabin, and threw one of her phones into the sea, end quote. Post also reported that the case is still being reviewed by the Orange County, Florida State's Attorney's Office, and no charges have yet been filed. Last weekend, Jones, real name Omari Palmer, took to social media to release a statement defending himself against the allegations and claimed that he'd be taking legal action against his accuser. Palmer was removed from TV by WWE when the allegations surfaced last September and subsequently fired. And Tammy Sitch has written a letter petitioning the Volusia County Circuit Court to shorten her prison sentence. According to the official statement received by the county clerk's office, Sitch is asking that Judge Karen A. Foxman allow her to serve her various sentences for different convictions concurrently rather than consecutively, which would significantly shorten her jail time from the 17 years she is currently serving. In November 2023, Sitch was convicted on multiple charges, including 1 count of DUI causing death, 1 count of causing death while operating a vehicle with a suspended or revoked driver's license, 4 counts of DUI causing injury, and 3 counts of DUI causing property damage. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.